Hey everyone, it's Dr. Nic with Professor Mike and Divine Guidance Institute teaching you how to know. The ancient way of knowing. Yes, and today we're going to talk about
porn, the P word. And more specifically, we're going to really get into P. Diddy's porn addiction. And that's the name of the podcast for today. P. Diddy's porn addiction. A lot of P's in there. Got the P word, got the porn, got P. Diddy. And hey, there's a lot to cover, a lot to say about it, but it's relevant in terms of what's going on also in the world today and our daily life. Dr. Nic is an addictionologist. So what is an addictionologist?
Yes, I happen to be an addictionologist with 30 years of experience. Yes. That means every degree I've had, from bachelor, master, and doctorate, the focus was psychology and addiction. And I've been in the addiction field since I was in my early 20s. And personally, I've been addicted to everything under the sun. A lot of experience with addiction, professionally and personally. But it's so interesting. I was talking with Michael the other day and I said, wow. The real deal with P. Diddy is his porn addiction. That's at the crux of this, is his porn addiction, not sex addiction. No, his porn addiction. It's the most insidious case I've ever seen. Covert. He's actually living out his addiction through creating pornographic movies, scenes. The director as the director. Yes, as the director. With the characters manipulating everything. I looked up the stats on porn. I didn't even know it was called the P word. The P word. Something popped up. This person has a program, Christ-based program for porn. He receives 600 to 800 applications a week to help Christians get over porn. Now, it's huge. Porn is one of the biggest addictions out there right now because of the scrolling, because of the accessibility with your phones. I'm just blown away at the level.
And yeah, that as Nic mentioned, because of that stat, everyone on the planet to some extent is certainly addicted to sex, because we wouldn't have any more people on the planet if everybody wasn't having sex and having babies. And it's inborn, it's genetic, but it extends and expands to a corrupted version, which becomes porn. And today, so many people are addicted to porn, but they do it in their house. They hit it on their phone, they hit it on their laptop, maybe they're watching it on their TV. But the point is, everyone to a certain extent is addicted to it. And P. Diddy has taken it to a new level. He's got the power and the money, and therein lies the differential, the power and the money to really produce his own personal live porn show. And probably if anyone else had the money, they would do something very similar to that. Why watch it on a video and on your laptop or your phone when you can have your own live porn show? And to some extent, I'm a sociologist, and I can tell you, in a cultural sense, porn today has become, everybody's picked up on it. It's the P word. It's like saying the F word. It's become all that. Oh my God, it's so dirty and down there, and it's porn. But where does it come from? Prostitution, and that's been around literally since we've been on the planet.
I think it's the oldest profession there is, actually.
It is thousands and thousands of years old. Nobody thought much about it. But now porn has become the thing sociologically to be the down and dirty engagement in behavior that's absolutely atrocious. So that's what's going on with the P. Diddy thing. And Nic nailed it when she said it's really he's addicted to porn, and he can only have his own live show and throw $1 million at it. So there you go, and that's what's drawn all the focus and the attention today.
Yeah, absolutely. And Freak Off, he created the term But that's been going on forever. All that is you get a bunch of drugs and you get a room and you have sex for days. You know, that's easy. Grab an 8-ball, grab an ounce of cocaine, and you'll do that without giving it a second thought. I mean, he didn't create that either. You know, he created the name freak off, but the thing itself, that's been going on forever. So, I mean, that's not even a big deal. That's just part of how people live. The secret side, the side that people aren't exposed to, so they think it's a big deal, or they think it's unique, or, you know, isolated around him and his lifestyle, but it's certainly not at all. And so yeah, porn addiction. You know, it's funny, I've had a client with gambling addiction, and he refuses to use the tools that will assist him, you know, in overcoming his addiction. So he went another route with it. He swapped addictions. Porn replaced the gambling. We don't work together anymore, and there was no point. If you're not going to use the tools to get over your addiction, and by the way, you know, we've helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people get over their addiction, whether it's cigarettes, Doritos, or heroin. You know, I always say heroin or Doritos, it doesn't really matter. It depends on yourself as an individual and what your favorite thing is, whether it's food or drugs or sex. You want to say something?
Yeah, at a basic level, you know, understanding addiction, like where does Diddy fit into all this, and why is his so dark and atrocious? Well, it's not. It's just another addiction. Addiction is addiction. And like Nic says, it doesn't matter. Truly, you're going to laugh, whether it's Doritos or cigarettes, or maybe my addiction's candy. I love sweets. I mean, beyond anything you would probably even imagine. So who cares? That's what I do. That's my addiction. And I'm vibing. I vibe at that level. It's like attracts like. That vibration is at the candy levels. And what does Diddy do? It's an addiction where he must have the porn, and he orchestrates it his own personal live movie because he has the power and the money. And that's what's going on. That's his porn addiction. Well, it's a vibration.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
It is a vibe, you know, and actually he must have his freak offs. I don't even think he realizes he has a porn addiction. No one has even realized that. This is why we're talking about it. It's at such an insidious level. No one realizes the crux of his stuff is porn addiction. Again, not sex addiction. It's very different. Porn addiction, creating these scenes on the regular in what he calls a freak off. Then he films them and, you know, checks them out later. But, you know, he kept that going for years and years and years, and had his two main people, you know, that have testified, and then had the random, you know, escorts come in, the male escorts, you know, which is real interesting because normally you see it reversed. And that's the deal. But the vibe, that's what I was saying. What Michael, just to you know, keep rolling with that topic, depends on you as a person and your vibration as to what your favorite thing is. Some people have a shopping addiction, okay? And, you know, opioids, methadone, cigarettes, Suboxone, you know, porn, sex, it goes on and on and on. And some things are more acceptable. You've got a shopping addiction. God, you look good. You look good all the time. Who would ever know? And people think, you know, you've got a lot of money, this, that, and the other. They don't realize that you're in debt 30 grand to look like this to feed your shopping addiction. So different things are portrayed in, you know, differently. And some are more acceptable. You know, everyone eats, right? So like, that's not even, and that's one of the hardest things is really food, because you've got to eat to stay alive. You know, alcohol, you stop, you know, this drug, you stop, you know, etc. But food, you've got to eat. So you've got to balance that. So that's one of the trickier addictions on the planet, but it's also the most acceptable. That's why most people are overweight, or they were until the Ozempic and the pens came in. Now most people, you know, you've got half and half. Anyway, so it depends on your favorite thing, and some things are more acceptable and overlooked than other addictions. So you got to keep that in mind too.
It's a state of consciousness, really, to summarize what Nic is talking about. And pretty much, I mean, whether we want to believe it or not, all of life is an addiction. Habit, tradition, routine.
Nice.
People keep doing the same damn thing they've always done. I grew up in the East Coast. I left, went to college out west somewhere, went back. And you know what? You know what my friends were doing? My buddies I went to high school with and stuff, in the same goddamn bar, in the same restaurants, eating the same food, drinking the same drink that they were doing years ago. It's like, whoa. Has, and because I was away from it, I happened to notice it when I went back. Has anything changed? No. Everyone has their habits, traditions, routine, and it becomes an addiction. And that's life. So in that sense, Diddy is kind of just simply representative at a rather large, dramatic, graphic level of an addiction. And nobody, sex trafficking has become the thing these days. Like we said, prostitution wasn't anything. Now it's sex trafficking. And so it's like not acceptable sociologically, but it's just part of life as it rolls on, and it's a vibration. And that's what we're attracted to, whatever we're vibing at. Quantum physics. It's really quantum
Yes,
physics.
it
Everything's
is.
a vibration, nothing more or less. That's where we go. That's what we're attracted to. That's what we become eventually, like Diddy. He has become that. So when people look at him, they go, oh my God, he's so dark.
No, and it's beyond him. He can't not do that. Like now he's in jail, so I'm sure he's feeding the porn addiction, in other ways, obviously, or what have you. But the point is, he could not do that while he was out. Even those tapes, you heard some of the one girl, please, can we just not do this on my birthday or whatever, however it went. He didn't have it in him to not do those things. It's such an addiction. It wasn't that he was the big bad wolf. He's got, the violence tendencies and these things, and none of that is cool. Okay. But when you've got these addictions, he's got his rage addiction. Yeah. Combined with the porn addiction and the drug addictions, et cetera, et cetera. But, all of that, there's that interplay that was going on and, so he appears to be the monster. And not saying that he's not. I'm just giving the basis for where all of this is stemming from, and that's the porn addiction and the rage addiction. But aside from that, what I wanted to say, which is the whole premise, and we said this in an earlier podcast when we were invited to a party, a Diddy party, in back when we were in Hawaii and Oahu, and he was there with Magic doing a benefit concert.
And he had his whole entourage. Yeah. And we were staying at the same hotel. So
the Kahala Mandarin. And I was down at the pool with most of the entourage, and I was sharing one magic word with them.
So there you're sharing one magic word. That's like, but it works. That's just the point.
He was not at the pool, unfortunately, and this is my point. I shared it with the entourage, the hue. You can do it out loud or silent, eyes open or closed. This thing is so user-friendly and so simple, and it works for addiction, and it works for anger, and it works for one magic word is legit. It works for anything because it changes your vibration. It changes your vibration and elevates your consciousness. So that's why and how it works. Are you wanting to say something?
Yeah, when you change your vibe, I mean, this is pure quantum physics, pure. And it works all the time. And people even who go, that's such a crock. And I always say, try it. And 30 seconds later, they go, oh my God, Mike, I could feel that. It changed my whole feeling towards, I was depressed and now I feel really better. What happened? When you change the vibe, you change the reality. Change the vibe, you change the reality. So that's why it works so quickly and so effectively.
So at the pool, and thank you for elaborating, at the pool, we're hewing, and then we get invited to the party later. We didn't go. The intuition, the gut feeling said no. And good thing, because there's a lot of, negativity about going to the parties, etc. And so intuition said no, so we didn't go. Okay. But the point is, had he been present at the pool, and I said this in the other podcast, had he been given the hue back then, had he started hewing then, he would not have fallen prey to all of the madness, all of the craziness. It would have elevated his consciousness toward Holy Spirit, toward God, toward being loving. It gets rid of the negative parts of you and elevates you to a more loving being and drops your negative characteristics. So that was the point we made in the other podcast and again today, because we're going to wrap this up in a minute, all about addiction and what you can do if you're struggling with porn addiction or any other addiction. But before we get to that wrap, I just wanted to finish with, had he been there, had he been hewing, things would have all been different for this guy. His whole road would have been different, and it would have been elevated. It would have been elevated. Not only that, but had he been working with us lately, he would not have been blindsided. He would have known the cops were coming, the FBI, the police, SWAT. He would have known ahead of time by working with these tools. That's our specialty. Never get blindsided again. That's why we started the Mystery School, Divine Guidance Institute, the ancient way of knowing.
And that's what we teach. And that's what we were talking to them about, to the entourage. Diddy didn't happen to be there, unfortunately for him, because it would have changed his life,
for
literally.
Real.
But when you change that vibe, you change that reality. And it's really a simple 2-letter approach, and it goes here. And automatically everything begins to shift from negative to positive. And there goes the addiction. Ooh, and I can tell you, everyone I've ever worked with, and a guy is smoking his whole life, and he started hewing, and he's go, wow, I'm smoking a lot less. And it was like, hadn't even really mentioned it to him. We just gave it to him to try out.
You're probably wondering, well, then why is Michael dealing with a candy addiction? His choice. He loves candy and has no intention of giving it up. So,
I mean, I don't do anything else. I do a little candy once in a while. That's it. So, hey, I got to have something.
Anyway, so one magic word. The cool thing about using it for addiction, all you do is add it. You don't try to do anything else. You don't worry about your addiction. You don't think about your addiction. You just start hewing. You add one magic word to your daily routine, 5 minutes a day, up to 20. Now and then you could do 4 or 5 minutes. You could do, in the shower, again, out loud, silent, eyes open or closed. Forget the yoga, forget the medications, the therapy and all this. You could just use one magic word. And what happens over time, because it changes your consciousness, it elevates you into the best version of you, that these things drop away. They drop away. The negativity drops, the anger drops, the PTSD drops. I mean, we have countless clients, thousands over these years, and case studies and science to back it up. Not that we need that, but countless stories of how the hue has changed people. And even when I was working, with the methadone clients, they'd be on the same dose for 8 years, and I'd say, just add the hue, don't worry about it. And in 1 week, they'd come, I want to drop my dose. After 8 years on the same dose, they want to all of a sudden drop their dose. These things happen. Even investigative reporting, the one guy said, well, now I'm not smoking as much. It's only been a week, and I'm not smoking as much. And so these things happen effortlessly.
And, it's real simple and straightforward. And I would recommend, to Diddy, if he were sitting right there, I'd say simply try the hue.
Start hewing.
Start hewing. And
alrighty, guys. So, we have courses, we have books. Actually, wait a minute. No. We need to say this. We never say this. We just came out with our signature course, One Magic Word, Vibrational Sound Therapy. Yes. I mean, it literally just came out with it like 2 weeks ago. You can go to onemagicword.com if you want more information. Feel free to email us. Anyhow, we're here. We've got the Institute, got the books, whatever you need, hit us up, start using these tools and get yourself rocking and rolling. So you're humming, so you're vibing right. All righty.
Hey,
take care.
Have a good one, guys.